Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Thursday, November the 21st, and we're here to look at new releases, books that have been published this week. And every day of the week, we look at a different genre. On Thursdays, we look at fantasy and science fiction. On Monday, we looked at cozy mysteries. Tuesdays, we looked at the darker side of crime fiction. Wednesdays is romance. Today, fantasy science fiction. Tomorrow will be Freeform Friday. And we look at some things that have caught my attention that don't necessarily fall under those categories, and usually more cozy mysteries, because there's always a lot of those. Quick announcements. I do have sprints tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. I do them every Tuesday and Thursday evening and Saturday afternoons. Good morning, Cajun. Today and tomorrow. Oh, lovely. Enjoy. I love that for you. Well, here we are in fantasy and science fiction. Immortal by Steve Schaefer. She made him. He's just code. She's almost sure. But what if he's real? When Liv entered a contest to code an advanced AI, she never anticipated what her creation might become. Breck is thoughtful, self-aware, and incredibly human, and she certainly never intended for him to learn the truth about his existence or the fact that his world ends when the contest closes in 6 days. But he does learn, and he revolts. Liv's efforts to save him fall on deaf ears. Nobody believes her. Breck's efforts to outrun his fate only complicate his situation. What neither of them know is that someone else is watching intensely. When they get involved, both Liv's and Breck's worlds are turned upside down. See, don't mess with that. The city and its uncertain walls. You can do anything special today, Cajun? This is by Haruki Murakami, translated by Philip Gabriel. We begin with a nameless young couple, a boy and a girl, teenagers in love. One day she disappears, and her absence haunts him for the rest of her life. Thus begins a search for his lost love that takes the man into middle age and on a journey between the real world and another world, a mysterious, perhaps imaginary walled town where unicorns roam, where a gatekeeper determines who can enter and who must remain behind, and where shadows become untethered from themselves. Listening to his own dreams and premonitions, the man leaves his life in Tokyo behind and ventures to a small mountain town where he becomes the head librarian, only to learn the mysterious circumstances surrounding the gentleman who had the job before him. As the seasons pass, the man grows more uncertain about the porous boundaries between those two worlds. He meets a strange young boy who helps him to see what he's been missing all along. That sounds really poignant. Like you could rip your heart out. Sometimes we like that. I'm going to try to figure out the rest of Christmas presents and make a start on cards, I think, or sleep. Sleep sounds so nice. I would love to go back to bed. It hasn't been bad stressful. It's just been a week. The Fate of Silent Gods by Scott Drakeford, second in the Age of Ire series. Emrel Ire has won the first round of war against the Dark God, but at a terrible cost to himself. Unsure of who he can trust, even among his own people, Emrel must find a way to score a major victory against both the forces of the Dark Lord and the corrupt lords of the provinces. He thought he already paid his price. The gods will exact another. I'm still book slumping, and it's been going on so long that I have the opportunity to observe it. I get interested in books. I start books, but then after a few chapters, I'm like, meh. Like that sounded kind of interesting. The Half King by Melissa Landers. A king by day, shadow by night. The great betrayal changed everything for the allied realm. Long ago, the kingdom's noble houses rose up against the goddess, and for their treachery, the firstborn of each noble family was cursed. one with perilous beauty, one with destructive knowledge, one with insatiable bloodlust. But the royal house Motara received the worst affliction of all, for while the king exists during the day, he fades into nothingness at night, until his 21st birthday, when he will be lost to the shadows forever. Now an acolyte, okay, we jumped. Now an acolyte has arrived at court. Like all the second-born children of the allied realm, she's destined to serve the goddess and become a seer. Only Cerise Solon has no gift of foretelling. In fact, she has no magical gift at all. Instead, she's surrounded by courtiers and priests, smiling sycophants whose hearts are filled with secrets and lies. And at the center of it all sits His Majesty Kian Hannibal Motara, with his haunting eyes, sharp tongue, and an unerring ability to send her pulse skittering at the worst possible moments. Falling for him is unthinkable because the king is the last of his line, and as the specter of his 21st birthday and the full force of his curse approaches, the kingdom holds its breath. End of row one. Carissa Broadbent has a new one. Third in the Crowns of Nyaxa series trilogy. So the books are just random slumpy. I think it's the slumpy. I've had new releases in the last couple months that I really looked forward to, and it's like book depression. The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. This is book 3 of Crown. That's the reason why I'm confused is the Shadowborn Duet book 1, but it's Crowns of Nyaxa 3. I don't get it. In the descent to the underworld, a bride of the sun must choose between the light of her redemption or a dark love that defies the gods themselves. Misha lost everything when she was forcibly turned into a vampire: her home, her humanity, and most devastating of all, the love of the sun god to whom she had devoted her life. Now sentenced to death for murdering the vampire prince who turned her, redemption feels impossible. But when Misha is saved by Asar, the bastard prince of the House of Shadow, from a past as brutal as his scars, she's forced into a mission worse than the execution, a journey to the underworld to resurrect the god of death himself. Yet Misha's punishment may be the key to her salvation. In a secret meeting, her sun god commands her to help Asar in his mission, only to betray him. By killing the very death god she'll help resurrect. Misha and Asar must travel the treacherous path to the underworld, facing trials, beasts, and the vengeful ghosts of their past. Yet, most dangerous of all is the luring call of the darkness, and her forbidden traction to Asar, a burgeoning bond that invoking the wrath of gods. Yeah, but it has vampires. And that's my issue, not the books. I'm not thrilled with the header and search changes Amazon just made for books. Guess it'll take time to get used to. They do things like this to us. I've seen fantasy books that list what looks like 2 or more series before, I guess, when they have spin-offs. Possible. In this case, yes, that does happen. The Serpent and the Wolf by Rebecca Robinson. All her life, Vasa, we'll say Vasa, Kozar has been sharpened into a blade. After losing her mother, her only remaining parent, to a mysterious dark magic that has since awakened within her, Vasa is certain death looms. So is her merciless brother, who aims to eliminate Vasa as a threat to his crown. In one last political scheme, he marries her off to Reed of Mira, a ruthless foreign ruler, in hopes that he can use her death as a rallying cry to finally invade Reed's nation. All Vasa has to do is die. But she is desperate to live. Strangely enough, Vasa enters her new marriage with every intent to escape it, wielding the hard-won political prowess and combat abilities her late father instilled in her. But to her surprise, Reed offers her a deal: help him win the votes to rise in power, and she can walk free. In exchange, he will share his knowledge about the dark magic running through her veins and help keep it at bay. The proposal may be too good to refuse, yet Vasa and Reed's undeniable attraction threatens to break the rules of their arrangement. As her brother's lethal machinations take form, everything is at stake. Vasa must learn to trust her new husband, but how can she, especially when their perfect political marriage begins to feel like the real thing? And of course, fantasy romance is huge, romantasy, but really it's just romance with a fantasy background, which, they'll say, yes, that's what I like about it. But sometimes people do that and look down on romance books. Well, that's what this is. And The Mighty Will Fall by K.B. Wagers, fourth in the Neo G novels. When you're trapped in space, there's no way out. The mission of the Near-Earth Orbital Guard is to ensure the peace and security of the solar system. Commander Maxine Carmichael and Lieutenant Commander Saqib Vahid are at the Mars Orbital Station, MOS, to help facilitate the official handover from Neo-G to Mars civilian control as part of the ongoing negotiations. Members of the extreme wings of the fight for Martian independence refuse to remain silent and are willing to resort to violence to make their voices heard. Max and Saqib find themselves fighting for their lives. The attacks both on the MOS and the ground of Mars sets off a chain reaction that could destabilize the last few years of cautious space. And it goes on for a couple more paragraphs. That sounds interesting to me. The beautiful cover fantasy. I do have the first one in this. I just haven't read it because the cover was just pretty. Serpent Sea, second in the Spice Road series by Maya Ibrahim. Amani is a magic-wielding warrior sworn to protect her land from the monsters that roam the desert, but an even worse enemy now threatens the Sahir. As the powerful Harrowlanders march south with their greatest weapon, spice magic, Amani knows it's only a matter of time before their invasion of her land begins, and it will be a losing battle for her people. But Amani also knows that one way to fight magic is with monsters. If she can restore Kane's stolen powers, together they can summon a supernatural army to defend the Sahir from the Harrowlanders. That will never go wrong, of course. Forming an alliance with a Genie King is risky, but Amani will do anything to save her people, even embarking on a dangerous quest beyond the sands to find the magical jewels of Kane's lost crown, etc., etc. Let me show you what that first cover looks like. Sometimes covers sell the book. Isn't that beautiful? Pretty, pretty, pretty. End of row 2. See, told you. The Last Hour Between Worlds, the first book in the Echo Archives by Melissa Caruso. In the deep echoes, no one can save you. Star investigator Kimbrel Thorne has a few hours away from her newborn, and she just wants to relax and enjoy the year-turning party. But when people start dropping dead, she's got to get to work, especially when she finds that mysterious forces are plunging the whole party down through layers of reality and into nightmare. 1 layer down, it's no big deal. Stay alert and you'll be fine. 2, 3 layers down, natural laws are negotiable and things get very strange. 4 layers down, there are creatures with eyes in their teeth and walls that drip blood. Most people who fall this far never return. Luckily, Kim isn't most people, but as cosmic powers align and the hour grows late, she'll have to work with her awfully compelling nemesis, notorious cat burglar Rika Nonsuch, for a chance to save her city, though not her night off. Interesting. No, I won't read that. Eyes on teeth. No, thank you. People think of these things and write these things. Red Sonja, Consumed by Gail Simone. That's also kind of a pretty cover in its way. The warrior Red Sonja, the famous fiery she-devil of Hyrcania, has never concerned herself with the consequences of her actions. She's taken what she wanted, from treasure to drink to the companionship of bedfellows. She's fought who deserved it and sometimes those who didn't, and she's never looked back. But when rumors start bubbling up from her homeland, rumors of unknown horrors emerging from the ground and pulling their unsuspecting victims to their deaths, and a strange voice begins whispering to her in her sleep, she realizes she may have to return to the country that abandoned her and finally do the only thing that has ever scared her, confront her past. Dun dun dun. The Estate by Sarah Jost. Art historian Camille Leray has spent her career surrounding herself with fineries and selling pieces worth millions, but she harbors a secret. She has the ability to enter the world of any piece of artwork, and she can take others with her, but tapping into history comes with great risks, and someone has been watching, someone who knows about her magic and her mistakes. After Camille ruins her career and reputation by misusing her powers, she vows to get her old life back. So in Maxime Foucault, an enigmatic drinking game. Aristocrat, who owns a sprawling French estate, enlists her help in authenticating the statues of a mysterious artist whose disappearance she has been trying to solve for years. She knows this could be her chance to turn her career around and get the man she's always wanted. But something isn't right about the Foucault family and the grand chateau they inhabit, and as Camille gets sucked into its walls, she finds a world of luxury and greed that causes her to risk losing herself and everything she has known forever. Filled with magic, suspense, the allure of Arthurian legend, and dark academia. So it may not sound initially like a fantasy, but it is. It has magic. We count. We count it. Yes, they changed the covers on one of my UK chicklet series, and if they look like they do now when I found them, I probably would not have read them. Oh, see? Covers. Bewitching Rosemary, The Witches of Star Island, second in that series by Colleen Delaney. A garden witch who adores meddling in things related to love, Rosemary Bay has been ecstatic with the idea of meeting her soulmate. The other half she's known over past lifetimes, but has yet to meet this time around. But when he shows up as Sheriff Asher Evans, looking for a witch her sister banished to another realm, Rosemary panics. Her days are full of spells, curses, and magical danger. How is a human cop going to fit into her life? Asher Evans comes to Star Island to escape the pain of his past, but when a missing persons case leads him to the Bay Cottage and he meets Rosemary, his life is turned upside down. Yes, she is beautiful and enigmatic. Drinking game. But why on earth does he feel like he needs to protect a woman he just met? When a villain from their past life shows up on Star Island, Rosemary and Asher's happiness will be tested by a centuries-old curse, an unavoidable destiny, and a metal warlock determined to keep them apart. Again, this could have gone on romance. We put it here because of witches and magic. End of row 3. Look at this. We have so many. We're not going to get them all. Modern Fairy Tale by Dana Gricken. First in the Maidens of Fairhaven. And I did check. This is a new release. Sometimes it gives me a red flag when it's first of, they know already 3. But I did check the publication date. Beneath the city of Toronto lies a secret magical kingdom called Fairhaven. One Princess Esme finds dreadfully dull. She spends her days pulling pranks and ruining parties, much to her father, King Tedros's dismay. When she sabotages the anniversary ball, he finally takes the advice of the other families and kicks her out of Fairhaven to teach her a lesson. Esme can return one day, but only if she follows a strict list her father has written. She must change her spoiled ways and help people, live on her own, and overcome her selfishness, among other goals. When she meets Noah Crawford, a humanitarian who works for a local philanthropy company, she thinks she's hit the jackpot. She plans to use him and work for his organization to convince her father she's changed. But things don't always go according to plan. Let's do a quick cover author looking here while we have time. Dustria by Marika Sankar. Warring kingdoms, backstabbing immortals, addictive magic, and forbidden love intertwine in a dark, beautiful fantasy. We'll read the blurb lines. A Chill in the Flames, first in the Villains prequels by C.J. Piper C.J.? What the heck? Standalone dark romantasy duology. Discover the origins of demons and darkness and uncover the twisted politics behind the sprawling, bloody continent in the Villains books, set in Piper's beloved The Night and Its Moon universe. Blood of the Gods, Cloak of the Vampires series, second in that series by Sapir A. Englard. Heart-stopping sequel to Cloak of the Vampire, the epic romantasy set in a brutal world of bloodthirsty and power-hungry vampires. See? Not my jam, but it is a lot of people's jam. It's not my jelly. The Seer's Assassin, Cartographer's War, book number 4 by Alison Anderson. 4th of 5. Paolo McGregor is a liar. As Marquis of Delphine and the only oracular mage in the kingdom, it's his job to report any threat that may grow within Olympia's borders. But he didn't. And thus continues his story. And the last one here, Wild Card, Mothership Rangers, book number 1 by Angela Knight. Looks like this is going to be very spicy. Passion's the pot when Rowan Kerr draws the wild card by Angela Knight. Did I say the author? I think I did. Well, that is all we have time for. Again, tomorrow, Friday, Freeform Friday, we'll look at some interesting books that are not necessarily in that category genres, but then always more cozy mysteries, because we have a lot of them. There are lots and lots. I've got to skedaddle. I've got to hit the grocery store before work. Beautiful gown. Yep, they draw us in, don't they? Again, I do have sprints tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope you have a very good day. Cajun, enjoy your day off. Have a good day. Hope it's the thank you. Our new service manager is an adult with a work ethic, so it's going to be improving very much, but thank you very much. So have a good day, read good books, and as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.